start with Ryan.
You mentioned Saturday that you like being coached hard, and Mac's been pretty critical despite a really good game. How does his approach compare to some of the other guys you worked with at the various stops along the way here?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty similar. I've had the opportunity to play for some really good coaches, Coach Mac definitely being one of them, and the common theme among them is that they're going to tell you the way it is. They expect you to make every play. Like I said, I expect to make every play. I definitely left some plays out there. I agree with him. Mechanically, especially, I think I can be more sound. So I appreciate it. You know, I don't want somebody to pat me in the back, like I said.
Does he go through each one of those with you after the next day, or him and us, or how do you address them?
Yeah, I mean, I watch the film usually later that night or early the next day if it's a night game, and I understand which plays I missed them or my feet weren't set, bad reads, certain things like that, and then they'll kind of talk through them with me. But you know, that's kind of how we go about it.
Zach and then Matt.
You know, when you come off a game like you had, you know, some stats that weren't put up here in a while, how do you take that and handle it moving forward?
Yeah, you know, it's nice to throw for a bunch of yards and a bunch of touchdowns, but to be honest, I did the easy part. You know, I was back there with all day to throw. I mean, you guys watched the game. There was nobody around me, so the offensive line did such a tremendous job. Like I said, the night of the game, and the running backs did a good job of opening holes and making them respect the run. So, you know, I think it was just me doing my job and going through the reads, and hopefully I can complete a few more balls in the next game. But the offense just did a really good job at executing the game plan that the coaches put in.
And then the way McElwain has his quarterbacks lined up on the sideline, calling in plays and stuff, it seems kind of unique. Some quarterbacks just stand or sit on the bench and aren't involved in the game. How do they help you out, and how does it help them that they're doing that?
Yeah, definitely. They each have their own specific job, and they're each watching certain things during the plays, whether it's me, the defense, the offensive line, the routes, or whatever. It is very useful because you get different vantage points. You know, I know what most people are doing on the plays, but I don't know what every single player is doing on every single play defensively. So, you know, you get a pre-snap picture, but once the plays go in, you're just kind of reading it out. So it is very useful, and it's nice to have them engaged in the game, because I've been at places where, you know, like you said, guys are just kind of hanging out and watching it on the Jumbotron, hope they get on TV or something like that. But it's nice to have everybody locked in and focused.
And they come over and say stuff to you?
Yeah, when I come off, I go to the bench with Coach Nuss, and they're there too, and we're kind of formulating what we're going to do on the next drive, how they played the last drive, and what we can do to score.
Pat.
Yeah, Luke, can you just talk about, you've seen it all over the country, teams struggling sometimes with teams that don't have big names, and how you guys had a little bit of that the first game, how you can kind of not fall into that trap again after a big win, and is that something that the leaders of the team need to be involved in?
Well, I think the biggest thing is that it's our goal every week, and it doesn't change, is to go 1-0. That's the goal. And what you learn when you play well like we did on Saturday is it really doesn't matter who you're playing. It matters how you execute the game plan, the intensity and the enthusiasm for what you play with. And you know, if you're worried about who you're playing and not about your own job, then you're not going to play well. So we need to worry about ourselves and execute the game plans that we come up with this week.
Mark?
I know you never want to play without Antonio Callaway, but could there possibly be an advantage to getting some other guys more action, more reps, more balls this week if he doesn't go?
Yeah, there's always advantages to spreading the ball around. Antonio is obviously a tremendously talented player, and you know, a lot faster than some people probably thought with, you know, the throw that I had to him. But you know, he's a great player. He's one of our best players on the team. You do want to get these young guys some reps and some throws to them, get some live action, because it is invaluable. You know, it's different. Game speed is very different. You know, you can go as hard as you want in training camp, but you know, when the adrenaline's flowing, when there's 90,000 people, you just play faster. So, yeah, it'll definitely be helpful.
Matt.
Max said the other, or I guess last week, that you missed exactly 6 throws in the opener. So, and I asked him this as well. How many do you think you missed after seeing the film on Saturday?
Did he give you a number?
A couple?
He said a couple?
Yeah.
Potentially big ones, like you said.
Yeah. I was a hitch late to Brandon back at the end zone. That would have been a touchdown.
Mention that one.
Yeah, you mentioned that.
Yeah, the one to Freddie didn't set my feet. There were a couple big ones where we, I kind of stopped us from getting more big plays. Yeah, I would say more than 6, to be honest. I think I need to do a better job with my mechanics and sticking to my reads, not trying to anticipate what the defense is doing. You want to do that, but at the same time, stay within your reads as you try to guess what they're in. So, if I do a better job with that, we'll complete more balls and sustain drives a little longer.
All right, I asked that to say then that, Max said the big thing is, of course, learning from those mistakes. So you mentioned the other night that bomb to Callaway was one where you learned from kind of the mistake in the opener. Are there other throws that you missed in the opener and then were able to fix them later on?
Yeah, so the last drive, the play before the touchdown to Michael, for instance, threw an out route to Antonio. In the opener, I'd skipped an out route to Josh Hammond. It's the same route, different split, but you're kind of alerting that throw based on what the defense plays. And, just fix my feet. That's all it was in the first game, just feet. And, just put it in their hands and they'll make the plays.
Thomas.
I apologize if I missed this after the game, got stuck in the back of the room. But what was the biggest reason, do you think, for the offensive line taking such a big jump from week 1 to week 2?
The intensity with which they played. They really set the tone early, especially after the almost fumble. They kind of took that as a sign of disrespect that I was even hit. I was like, wow, guys, it's one play, let's move on. They were pretty ticked off that I got hit. So I think just the pride with which they played, and they played really well together, passing off games. And like I said after the game, I didn't get touched after the first possession. So tremendous job with them, and we got to do it again on Saturday.
Edgar.
How hard does Matt coach you? I mean, he was up here getting a little worked up and practicing these missed throws for us. How hard does he get on you sometimes?
Yeah, no, he gets after me pretty good. Yeah, you can ask guys during practice. He'll get after me. I expected though. I came here to play for him, so I knew what kind of a coach he was and is. And I didn't really want to play for a coach who kind of just said, it's okay, get the next one. You understand that as a player, but you want to be held to the standard that the coach has set.
And what is the most valuable thing you've learned from him as a quarterback so far?
Probably keep it simple. He does a really good job with, we have a lot of plays that there's a lot of good options on the plays. And he says, look, if you get this, they're there. If you get this, here. End of discussion. And as a quarterback, for him to do that and coaching us to do that, it makes playing so much easier. You can think so much faster. You don't have all this clutter in your mind, and you play better.
Piron, he kind of burst on the scene a little bit the other day, but we've been hearing a lot about him during training camp. What did you see in him that led you to believe he might be able to jump in and help immediately?
The biggest thing that I was impressed with LaMichael is he got in week 1, first carry fumble. And of course he was upset. I'd be mad if he wasn't upset, but he didn't get in the gutter. He didn't pack it in and say, oh God, I'm not gonna play again, I'm gonna have to redshirt. And he worked really hard in practice, had a really good week of practice, gained the confidence of us and the coaches to allow him to get back in there and compete, and he played incredible on Saturday. Ran really hard, caught a touchdown, so really proud of him with the way he played.
Right.
There's a lot of excitement about Tyree's potential. How frustrating is it that he just can't get past these hamstring issues early on here?
Yeah, it's just another hurdle. Everybody has kind of something that they have to get over, whether it's transfers or injuries or ineligibility. It's something, but we're here for him. I understand his frustration. He is very talented, so I understand that he knows that he can contribute and he wants to be out there. But just patience. Hamstrings are frustrating because if you come back too early, you're gonna hurt it again. especially if you're a fast guy like he is.
Ethan.
You mentioned Michael and Juwan Taylor. You also mentioned after the game, obviously playing real well in their first extended looks as freshmen. Was that surprising at all, seeing them, play like that in their first looks?
Yeah, it's kind of hard to tell how freshmen are going to react when they play in the game. A lot of guys play well in practice, but like I said, it's just different when you're out there. Some guys freak out, other guys just say, hey, it's just a game, just football. So for those guys to go in calm-minded and do their job is big.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.